Greetings, man. Welcome aboard. Stuart Charles here, HomeStudioBasics.com, helping you make sound decisions. So, this video will be power-packed with all of FiiO's current K-Series DACs in a ranking format according to overall value. We'll discuss everything from sound, features, power output, and more. Links to articles and all that good stuff in the description box. All future additions to the lineup will be added to the official article linked below as well. If you find this video helpful and or funny, please consider subscribing to the channel. By the end of this video, you'll know which DAC is best for your specific need. Keep in mind that I have logged dozens, perhaps even hundreds of hours on these, and my goal is to help you purchase the right one specific to your unique situation. So with that, let's dive in. Number 9. FiiO K3. The K3 is certainly still a useful product. It was one of the first DACs from FiiO to feature a USB type connection, and to this day still comes in handy. Before snagging a pair of Yamaha HS7s, I used the K3 as a preamp into the PreSonus Aeris E3.5, a great set of budget monitors that actually sound like monitors. The K3's 3.5mm output on the back is mega sweet and comes in handy when you need something quick and dirty to connect to an amp, speakers, etc. In this way, it acts as a preamp, but it's also an amp DAC combo and works with headphones. The problem is that it doesn't have a lot of power unbalanced, thus why I relegate it to preamp duties most of the time. The good news is that you can run it with a 2.5mm balanced cable, so that's nice. That said, 2.5 has sort of been phased out and replaced with 4.4. In any event, the K3 sounds excellent with a Sennheiser HD5 8X balanced, for example. It also supports DSD and generally provides your headphones with a crisp, neutral digital to analog conversion. On the front are your volume pot, balanced jack, unbalanced jack, bass boost, and gain switch. Back panel. The back contains the 3.5mm mentioned above, as well as the Type-C jack that you'll use to connect to a PC/laptop, a coaxial output, and an optical output. With optical or coaxial out, you can hook it up to a receiver or speakers that have optical in or coax in. A good example would be the Edifier R1280DB powered Bluetooth speakers, which have both an optical input and a coaxial input. Build. The K3 is a fairly light unit but doesn't feel cheap, with a rounded contour shape and an elegant aesthetic that improved on the somewhat boxy/industrial looking profile of the older E10K. All in all, the K3 is still a great unit, but you may not need it nowadays.
Number 8.
FiiO K9 Pro, ESS and AKM. The K9 Pro was FiiO's flagship model for quite a while, but has since been replaced with the K19, and I think K17, which I do not have at the moment. More on the K19 in a bit. As a do-all unit, I love the K9 Pro. In addition to everything great about the K5 Pro, the K9 Pro adds Bluetooth, a 4.4mm input, balanced XLR outputs, and 3 headphone output options, including XLR, 4.4mm, and 6.35mm, quarter-inch. Now, are those things worth roughly $300 to $500 extra? Probably not, but again, it depends entirely on you and what you're willing to spend. Aside from those aspects, yeah, it's about the same thing as a K7, K5 Pro, and K11, ESS versus AKM version. I used to think the ESS and ESS chips in general sounded cleaner, more open, etc. My stance has since shifted. Here's a video covering it. Here or here, wherever. Don't say I didn't warn you. The Synad standard and why it's so important. So I wouldn't say the sound of the K9 overall is any better, and there are many people who don't need the extras I just mentioned. I'll leave a link below to my ethos and my philosophy on DACs if you're interested. Remember, I always recommend based on value, and I believed at the time that it was a good value for what you were paying. That said, if you don't need those extra features, don't buy it. Buy one of the others and you'll be happy as a clam. You can thank me later. Number 7. FiiO K19. If the K9 and K9 Pro were wannabe flagships, the K19, as of this update, is FiiO's official and current flagship offering, subject to change at a moment's notice. Coming in at about a rent payment in my area, this $1,300 behemoth is long and wide, but not dummy thick. As part of FiiO's design overhaul, the K19 mimics the streamlined, thin look and overall sleek aesthetic of their entry-level K11, and it's certainly not a bad thing like Justin Timberlake. Boasting a front-lit interface with a scrollable menu system, the K19 is hands-on, intuitive, and fun to play with. As with the K11, it lights up like Nicolay with a fat blunt in his mouth, and even comes with a remote. Surely a welcome addition for lazy couch potatoes like myself who haven't moved from their couch indentation since George H.W. Bush took office. With more features than a new age rap album, the K19 proves itself incredibly valuable and works in a myriad of different ways, albeit at a hefty price tag that should make even the staunchest of audiophiles start to blush. In other words, it's certainly a great product but could stand to come down by around $500 before I move it up on this list and or recommend it. As it stands now, it's surely the most versatile DAC I've tried out of around 80 plus, but ultimately still not worth the money in my opinion.
Why not save some of that there dough and consider the next option on this list?
Number 6.
FiiO K9 Non-Pro. If you're dead set on a flagship model without the official flagship title, I think the K9 is the best value as far as being an incredibly useful product at a sensible-ish price. This non-pro version is just as pro as the original K9 Pro, and it's much cheaper, functioning almost exactly like a pro unit despite not having the pro moniker. In other words, to me, it's pretty much the same thing in very pro. Did I say pro enough times for you? Well, I'm gonna say it again! Both have ESS chips, but the K9 Pro's is a 9038 versus the K9's 9068. The K9 is lighter at 2660 grams, doesn't have a Type-C port, has 3 filters versus 7, and has the PEQ feature. The K9 Pro ESS doesn't. The K9 doesn't have an MQA renderer, so if you're looking for that, you may go with the K9 Pro or something cheaper like the K7. The K9 supports up to 768K 32-bit DSD 512, while the K9 Pro supports 384K 32-bit DSD 256. The K9 Pro's signal to noise ratio is a bit better, 129 dB versus 124. Outside of that, the units are eerily similar, and as of now, I'm not recommending the K9 Pro anymore. I'd rather you save a bunch of money like Geico and go with the regular K9. I promise you won't lose sleep over the decision. Number 5. FiiO K5 Pro. The K5 Pro was a mainstay recommendation on my site for many years, dating back to 2019, and it's still a fantastic product packed with plenty of features. It's just that times have changed and stuff is always getting upgraded, updated, etc, etc. While things have shifted a little, this DAC is still an excellent purchase, and I'll outline why. Affordable. The K5 Pro at roughly $150 is not a good value, it's a value steal. Considering everything it can do, it seems almost criminal how cheap it remains, especially taking into consideration how much overpriced crap exists in the audio landscape. Plenty of power and features. In addition to its more than enough power output, 1.5 watts at 32 ohm, the K5 Pro can play up to 32-bit 768K files and DSD 512. Very interesting indeed when you consider just how old this thing is. I don't care much for anything above 44.1, but the K5 was advertising meaningless high PCM files before it was cool. In addition, if you want to play files above 48K in title, you can. You'll just have to enable exclusive mode. Exclusive mode. Click on the 3 bars in the upper left corner inside title. Go File, Settings, Streaming. Scroll down to where it says Sound and Sound Output. Click More Settings to the right. Now just tick the button to exclusive mode and the formats will change according to the file. Now the halo light will turn yellow for any master files inside the program. DSD is a bit of a different story. Most DSD files you'll have to pay for, but there is a free library of songs that I use for testing and comparing. The website is Blue Coast Music. You'll have to make an account, but the process is fairly painless. If you'd like a step-by-step guide, click the article linked in the description box. I'll label it accordingly. Extremely versatile. The number of different ways you can use a K5 Pro is, in my eyes, what sets it apart from other offerings. Alongside the power jack and USB Type-B slot for connection to your PC, there's an optical input, coaxial input, one set of RCA inputs, and one set of RCA outputs. This essentially means that you can use it with damn near anything. A console for gaming, any separate DAC with RCA outputs or line output, any amplifier with line input or RCA inputs, any set of speakers with RCA or line inputs, PreSonus Eris E3.5 or FiiO SP3 for example, and the list goes on. You can use it with CD/DVD players that have coaxial outputs, a TV with a coaxial out, most do. The possibilities are endless. All of the various switches on the front make swapping sources rather simple, so don't fret. Number 3 is S. This is for SPDIF, coaxial, and your optical input. Number 2, L. This is for line input or output. Number 1, U. This is for USB connection to your PC. If you need a hand with anything, comment below. If there was one thing missing from the K5 Pro, it's what the following options have. Number 4, FiiO K7. Everything I just said about the K5 Pro applies to the K7 with a few notable updates. The K7 is slightly larger lengthwise. The K7 has the THX stamp. The K7 has a balanced 4.4mm headphone output. The K7 lights up in a rainbow of colors upon initial startup. Just turn the knob. The K7 is a bit heavier at 610 grams versus 436 grams for the K5 Pro. Keep in mind they feel around the same in your hand. The K7 displays teal instead of blue for all files below 48K. In addition to all of that, the interface is slightly different this time around and arguably more convenient / easy to see. Instead of your input being a switch, there's a button on the leftmost side that cycles between USB, optical, coaxial, and line. Above that, you'll see 4 LED lights that coordinate accordingly. The rainbow colored halo around the volume pot that displays on startup also appears when pressing the input button and cycling between sources. The color thing is inconsequential, but you will likely appreciate the LED lights in the upper left as it's much easier to see which input you're on. In other words, it's a lot more intuitive than the K5 Pro. As far as the output section goes, it's a simple switch that cycles between LO, pre, and PO. Low. This mode bypasses volume control on the K7. The RCA outputs send a fixed level line signal, which is ideal for connecting to an external amplifier like the JDS Atom 2 or powered speakers that have their own volume control. Pre-amplifier mode. In this mode, the RCA outputs are volume controlled by the K7's front volume knob. PO. This will be used with both unbalanced, single-ended, and balanced or TRRS headphones and wiring. Sound and power output. The only small caveat is the volume potentiometer. Despite having more power, you'll feel like you're turning the knob a lot more, at least initially. From FiiO's website. Thanks to ADC curve reconstruction, experience a smooth 112 steps of adjustable volume free of channel imbalances and noise, ensuring that every note is faithfully reproduced. After using the K7 quite a lot since I received it, I can confirm FiiO's statement is accurate and I'm completely fine with the implementation. Sound-wise, there are almost no differences between the K7 and K5 Pro, and if there are, it's incredibly subtle. The K7 advertises less than 1 ohm output impedance, and if I remember correctly, the K5 Pro's is around 1.2. Again, not a whole lot of discrepancy there. This is a smooth, crisp backdrop that works very well for all of your music, so don't worry too much about how it sounds. Seriously, don't. And don't comment about how I'm wrong about it not having a sound signature because I won't read it. For proof of this, check out the videos The Truth About DACs and the FiiO K11 R2R video in which I didn't respond to a single comment because I really actually don't give a shit. Number 3. FiiO K7 BT. With new DACs coming out almost weekly, it's truly a great time to be alive. FiiO's K7 Bluetooth is another in a long line of K-series homies, and it's a real keeper. Besides the fact that the K7 Bluetooth now supports Bluetooth, there are no differences. Same specs, same sound, same everything. Now, is the Bluetooth homie worth $50 extra? Depends on who you ask. If it were me, there's no reason I'd buy a K7 if I could just have the K7 BT with that extra layer of functionality. Your mileage may vary here, but I personally feel as though it's the better value and thus why it's ranked ahead of the original. The incredible convenience of coming home in the evening and firing up some music with the K7 Bluetooth and SP3 combo is priceless. Picture this. It's been a long day at work. You're tired. You just want to get home. You finally get home, pair your phone with the K7, press play on Spotify, and all your problems melt away. Okay, let's
not start sucking each other's dicks quite yet.
But you'll love the fact that listening to music takes all of 5 seconds, and in this new age weirdo society where people need everything instantly or they'll lose their damn minds, this combo is just what the motherfucking doctor ordered. Number 2. FiiO K11 R2R. Some people may watch this and go, huh? Why is the K11 ranked ahead of the R2R version? Isn't the R2R supposed to be
better?
Well, if you listen to silly audiophiles who claim they can hear the grass growing, then yeah, the R2R version is better. But for the rest of us folks who dwell in the real world, it's essentially the same DAC with the same sound. I'm not saying R2R technology isn't legitimate. It certainly is. What I'm saying is that in real time, back and forth A/B extensive testing, there are no differences. They're both excellent DACs, and I do love the K11. It's built well and makes for a great entry-level product. With it, you can output to separate speakers via analog, it has an optical input for use with consoles, and it contains a coaxial input in addition to the USB Type-C jack for your PC. I just don't think there's any reason to spend roughly $30 more for what essentially amounts to a placebo. So save your motherfucking money. Number 1. FiiO K11. FiiO's K11 takes everything good about the K3, K5 Pro, K7, and makes it dirt cheap. This sleek, elegant looking amp DAC combo is the result of FiiO's design overhaul, also seen in the K19. The only thing missing here is RCA inputs, but it's still an incredible value at $130 to $140, and as of this update is my top recommendation in the series. Featured is a fully balanced system utilizing 4.4mm in addition to the standard 1/4 inch. Its frontlit interface is a lot more convenient to use, and you'll enjoy the numbers displayed for you to read. This makes the process of cycling through options a lot more seamless, and it's nice to be able to see everything. If all that wasn't enough, it lights the f up too. Final verdict. I think we can safely discard the K3 at this point. While useful, it's not necessary to have anymore. I would say go with the K5 Pro if you're not planning to use balanced headphones, but there's simply no reason to buy it anymore since the K11 has a balanced output and is $20 cheaper. As of now, my top 2 recommendations in the series are the K7 Bluetooth and K11. If you don't need RCA inputs or Bluetooth, the K11 is hard to beat at a measly $130, $140. If you do need those things, go with the K7 Bluetooth. The original K7 is a great value at $200, but as mentioned earlier, if I was shopping for a DAC, the K7 BT is a lot more appealing and convenient. Why pass up that extra layer of functionality? That said, number 1 on this list is of course the K11. Another great FiiO product in a long line of many, and I wholeheartedly recommend it as a fantastic all-in-one entry-level desktop solution that won't break the bank. Not only does FiiO understand what constitutes an excellent value, features, etc., but they also understand pricing and how to offer a great deal. And that's it. But always remember to keep it dummy thick. Aight?